company really deployed this tool, and it just gained a tremendous support across the community. But it does come with a little of couple of gotchas, some of them being speed and others, and isolation, and how well you can run on a HPC. So now we got other tools like Singularity that takes advantage of of a couple of other things and makes it really easy to work within HPC environments. Unfortunately, I think Singularity runs largely on Linux and works very well in HPC. So maybe, I don't know whether it's today or tomorrow, we may have a chance also to work with Singularity containers. It's also installed on our environment, and we can pull and download containers. The good thing with Singularity, again, it can build Singularity containers off Docker, because again, just as you saw with the env, the YAML file for environment within Coda, you do exactly something very similar with Docker, and that allows you to curate your environment and specify your base install and image. So if you're on Linux, you can choose what you have, and the release channels. Let me see where that is. And, and installation per distro. What is that? So you can go. I'm just going to go through slightly different set of tools, but this is really nice, and maybe we can get time to go through this. I'll put that in the tutorial, just to show a really nice back-to-back, or rather a tutorial to go through. What I wanted us to go through, I think Docker should be installed in your base environment, right? So if you run, I'm just going to use mine here. If you run Docker, you'll output a number of commands. Are we all able to do that? Okay. And I have a text file here, which out of the Word document here. Where is that now? Docker practical. Yeah. So I pulled this again from one of the web tutorials, and what I'm going to do here is that and we can all do this if you've got Docker in your environment. I'm just going to go to the tools. Day 2, day 1, practical 2. Yeah, good. I'm going to paste this here. Okay. And I'm on a Mac OS platform. Okay. And what I want to do is run this command. And a couple of things. Yeah. So have you all been able to do that? What happens when you run it? Just want to ensure that we are on the same page. Yeah. Yeah, but did you run the command I asked you to run, which is docker run -it ubuntu bin bash? No, docker run. No, there's a space there. -it ubuntu, which is Debian, then slash bin bash. Yeah. Has it all? Have we all somehow found ourselves on this terminal? Yeah. Yeah, that's not installed. What's happening here? Yeah. So essentially what I've done is using that command, right? We've asked Docker to run Ubuntu and run a specific command that saw us here, which was the bash. And what it's done is that it's created an image. It's pulled and compiled an Ubuntu image and given us a prompt, okay? And run the bash. That's why we've seen ourselves. The -it is interactive and called the terminal, okay? So we're going to run this container. So essentially, we've created a new container, pulled it out, built it, and the reason I'm doing this, LS is, this is the base environment that you'd find yourself within an Ubuntu machine, okay? And, we can go to home, and, there's nothing there, okay? And although I'm on a macOS platform, it simply means that I can install and download Ubuntu and other containers, whether they're CentOS. The machines that you're running on is CentOS Linux. So if you have software and this software only compiles on a given distro, it simply means that we are able to download and install those images and run installs on them, okay? So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to open a new shell here, a new window, and I'm going to run docker ps, okay? So let me blow this a little bit, okay? And you see that the ps command, just like you have, because with Docker it's about processes, right? So if you're familiar with Linux, we have the ps command that can list for us running processes, and we can do quite a lot. We can kill processes, we can stop processes, we can spawn processes, and so on and so forth. And we can monitor them, okay? So Docker ps is allowing us to look through, and we can see that we got an Ubuntu image that was created about 3 minutes ago, yeah? It has a name and an index over there, okay? So I can go back to this image, my other terminal. So, and over here I can quit this image here. I'm back to where I was, okay? And in my second terminal, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to run the same command. I'll append -a now. I had done a couple of this yesterday and actually installed a new, I have a next train there. But by running that, is that you can see that I got, let me blow this a bit here, just so we can see. You can see the images that I have, but these images are not active, okay? So the -a is sort of the ls -a is, all, so I'm able to list everything. And if I want to sort of restart the image that I had, because Docker has downloaded this image, it's available in my environment, I can always activate it again by calling Docker and asking it to start. I'm going to give it a command, the name of the image that I want. And if I do D1A, I don't have to start everything all over, but I'm able now to see it. So if I turn here and I do Docker PS, again you can see that I got an image and it's running. Okay, so I'm using this to monitor my images. That's why I got these two terminals, right? So I've activated it over here. We've not attached to it, but that image is running. And by running the PS, which is the process status, I don't know whether that's actually the acronym for it, but by running the PS command, we're able to see. And I didn't have to type the entire name there, just by doing, where was that? Type in just the first ID, I'm able to pull those images. Okay? So I'm gonna attach my container here by running the attach. Okay? And I'm gonna do AD1A. Okay? And I'm back. So now I'm active in this environment. I can install tools. I can do a lot within that container. And I can download things. Unfortunately, but we'll come to that tomorrow, is that lots of stuff doesn't persist. So once I close this, it's off. Okay? It's not going to write things. So we're going to learn how to do that, and also how to load files, which are called volumes, so that they persist and we can work with data from our environment. Okay, so that's slightly different. With Coda, it's simply an environment. You got your working directory, but for this one, for example, I'm on Ubuntu, but my base environment is Mac OS. Those things don't really talk to each other directly. At least they got to have a server way of communicating, and therefore I need to tell my container to load the data that I want and mount them using volumes. So if you're a system admin, you are accustomed to the concept of volumes because, well, volumes are files, and we know that directories and volumes and other things you mount are all files. Yeah, that's a bit about Linux. Everything is a file. Okay. So I've attached my container, and that's how you can bring it back to life and kind of kill it like that. And I can stop it by running. Again, I'm just going to run the first command. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm going to just do something here. So we're in this terminal, and I got this other terminal down here. Okay, so let's look. So I got these two terminals. So this is my image. This is my Docker image. Okay, it's an Ubuntu image hosted on my Mac OS volume, or rather OS, right? And here I got another terminal that pretty much I'm using as a way to control this other one, or control or see things, yeah? And I'll show you something else later on, okay? So what I'm going to do is that while I'm in this environment, I'm going to run docker stop, and I'm going to just input my first few things. And what Docker is doing is going to kill that environment. I think it's taking time to silence it. But see what happened here. Yeah, it quit unceremoniously, right? So, and that's great, and if I run now sort of Docker PS again to control my environment, there's nothing is mounted, and if I run with -a, I'm able to see all the images that I have installed. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is delete them, right? So I'm going to delete the AD1A. I'm just using that, okay? And now if I run docker ps minus A. I only have one image left. Okay? So there's beauty with this because I can make use of things and dispose them and create new ones. So really powerful, right? And I can also delete this environment, this other container here by running sort of the similar command. In this one here, I think this image has this number here. And now I have no container left. Okay. No, you don't have to key in everything. Yeah? Yeah. Just the first few numbers will allow you to have an overview. Okay? If we go to the Docker documentation, we can um, 30 minutes. You can sort of get a lot more information. If you're on Mac OS, you get this little whale thing with its containers here, and what it does is that it gives you this dashboard, which again can give you a visual interpretation of all your images. So you can see what I had previously. You can see when these were created, updated. This is the base Ubuntu, keeps on getting updated. You always pull the latest. You can pull specific ones. And I've not mounted any volumes. I think we'll cover that tomorrow, as well as creating new environments. But if you could just maybe go to the docs and try to walk yourself through this tutorial, maybe in the next 30 minutes, and then I'll discuss tomorrow, hopefully, a little bit on Git, but I might start on with Docker. Yeah? Particularly mounting volumes and how to work and also pull images from Docker Hub, for example. Yeah? There are lots of tools already processed, lots of images that are already there, and we can pull them. And lots of bioinformaticians have taken time to share their images. And at this point now, I think if you're on Windows or whatnot, you don't have to worry or think, how do I partition my Windows computer? Do I need to partition? Using Docker, you don't need to. Yeah? And the same thing if I'm on Mac OS, I can get any distro that I want, whether it's Arch Linux, whether it's CentOS, whether it's Debian, Ubuntu, whatnot, and any version. And not just that, I can create images that only pull specific pieces of tooling that I want. I don't have to pull everything. Okay? And that's really, I think that's really, really powerful. Okay? Right. I'm a bit tired from talking. Yeah. Yeah, go on. To close. All right. Maybe you close the environment. Did you run the rm command? I think the command you want is you can just follow through. What have you done? Docker run it.
Exited here.
Exit.
Docker start. Maybe this call is not.
I think it's Docker attach. That's the command you want to run, isn't it?
That comes after start.
No, Docker attach.
And
So if you run Docker, sorry, it's all caps. Docker PS. What do you get? You got tons of images that you actually created. Yeah, and you even have